Welcome to the Under the Capes podcast. I'm Tim, and I'm on a mission to build my own geek brand. To help, I'm going under the capes of all the best bloggers, cosplayers, podcasters, YouTubers, and other entrepreneurs to learn how they've built a following around doing what they love. How's it going, EntrepreNerds? Welcome to episode 30 of the Under the Capes podcast, and this is a very special episode, as some of you can already see, because this is the first episode I'll be posting on YouTube. So this is a new thing that I'm trying out based on the fact that I've wanted to get on YouTube for a long time, and specifically a talk with my guest this week, my guests actually, who kind of convinced me to get it out there in some form. So the way it's going to work initially is I'm doing the intro as a video, and then once I jump into my interview, it will just be the audio, and then I'll come back for the outro that I do, and you'll be able to see me again there, just to get some video aspects in there. But predominantly it will just be the audio. But if this is something that you guys like, if this is a form that you'd kind of prefer to get the podcast in the future, I'll start seeing if guests are willing to do audio and video, so it can be a little more visual, and the videos can be a little more interesting for you guys. So I'll definitely look for your feedback there. But I'll talk a little bit more about my plans for YouTube after the interview, because I don't want to take away from my guests this week, because they had a ton of information, and they really did help me make this next step into video, because my guests this week are Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party. And I first heard about them they did an interview on the Nerd Chronic podcast, and I had those guys on the show in episode 13. And they are a really cool YouTube channel that does trailer reactions, movie reviews, vlogs from conventions and other. It's a lot of great nerdiness for movie lovers specifically. And they're also part of Collider's Movie Trivia Schmoedown, which I have been obsessed with for the past month. It's in case you don't know what Collider Movie Trivia Schmoedown is, it's a movie trivia contest on YouTube on Collider's page that takes a bunch of great individual and team trivia people at movies, and puts them through rounds of awesome movie trivia. And Robert and Vanessa have been contestants on the show, and we talk about exactly how they became part of Movie Trivia Schmoedown. And they actually this year won the biggest upset of 2017, which was an awesome match. They were going in as underdogs, and they pulled it out, and they've had a great showing in the Schmoedown so far. Robert actually had a perfect round on his I believe it was their debut. Anyway, I would definitely check out those videos, but before then, check out their YouTube, because on their own they do some amazing content, and we talk about a lot of that. We go really in depth about their process for actually making the videos and making them really high quality. We talk about how. All right, I'm now joined by Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party. Guys, thanks for joining me.
Hello there.
An enthusiastic fan.
It's kind of our thing.
Has opened up a lot of opportunities for them.
So can you tell me a little bit about
a lot of other cool stuff?
How you guys first got interested in movies and pop culture, and why
let's
that
head
became
right to the interview.
Late to the Party?
Oh boy!
Back in the day, before it came out of the womb. No, I'm just kidding.
That really is where it starts. It starts at growing up. That's one of the big things, because obviously we grew up in a time when there weren't really, entertainment wasn't readily available as much as you wanted it to be. Like now, it's instant gratification, no matter what you're looking for. And back then, it was whatever VHS tapes your parents had, you know, in the little cubby underneath the entertainment center.
Make sure you record it.
Yeah, and then recording your little compilations of videos off HBO if you were lucky enough to have it.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view was a must back in the day, and that was how we were really...
Going to the movies?
Yeah, we forged ourselves and our interest back then, and really it came down to a way to connect with friends and family based on what movies you were really into and what you could quote and what you couldn't quote. I mean, it was always kind of a battle with your friends, you know, to get it right, or reenacting Star Wars in front of the TV screen.
Reenacting it on the playground, all that good stuff.
Always. That was the biggest one, was the reenacting of the playground or of the movies on the playground with your friends. Yep. One day it was Indiana Jones, and it was Jurassic Park, Star Wars, and for Vanessa,
Titanic.
Yeah. All ranges of movies.
Yep.
Yeah, it was, you guys probably would have been reviewing, like, Blockbuster VHS covers back in the day.
Right, yeah.
That was how you decided what movies to watch.
I mean, this guy was part of, like, a kids' review thing in our town.
Yeah, in Tucson, for the Tucson Citizen, our local paper, they did a thing called Kids Critics, where every summer they would... you had to write a review, send it in, apply, do an interview, and if they chose you, you would become a kids critic for the summer and go to movies for free and write your reviews on them and send them in. And I had to write up my reviews for multiple movies and read them over the telephone so that people could write down verbatim what I was reviewing. It was a different time, but yeah, it was... any way you can judge a movie by its cover, Blockbuster Video, I mean, that is essentially where it all started, this fascination with film of all genres, except for sports movies. That one never really tapped into me.
The kids' sports movies.
Heck yeah, Rookie of the Year. We got to meet Henry Rowan-Gardner recently.
Really?
Thomas Ian Nicholas, man. Good guy. Nice guy, but he's my hero from when I was a kid. Henry Rowan-Gardner.
Every kid's dream.
Right?
You've had experience reviewing movies for a long time.
For a while, yeah.
I just went to movies and enjoyed them.
Watch the same one over and over.
Yeah.
So what made you want to come back a year or two ago and start like officially reviewing these on the channel and putting your voice out there?
We just talked about movies all the time, and we thought, well, other people on the internet are doing it, why can't we do it as well? And we got a lucky break, but with all the equipment that we use, and we ended up getting a good deal. And then we just it's the equipment stayed dormant for like a year, and we didn't use it. And then we were like, well, we have this equipment, let's just do it in front of the camera.
Yeah, let's figure it out. And that's the thing too, is when we were talking, it was throughout life references, just throwing out quotes. And when we'd go on vacation, we'd go to Disneyland, we'd be sitting there, you know, quoting with our friends movies. It's stuff that only we would know. Only this little small group would get the reference. And then it really came down to, it was almost like a perfect storm, lightning in a bottle, where we would go watch YouTubers Adam DeWoo, Justin Scard, and Collider Video, at that time AMC Movie Talk. And that had Christian Harloff, Mark Ellis, John Campia, John Schnepp, all this group of friends. And when they talk to each other, sure, they're reviewing, you know, current news for movies, but they would throw out little references, and sometimes they'd pick up on it, throw it back and forth, but other times they'd throw it out into the ether, and I'd sit there and be like, that's a Police Academy 4 reference. Oh my God, I got that reference. And it was that spark that, like, Adam DeWoo or Justin Scard would throw out these little references or quotes, but move on. They wouldn't, you know, harp it out, drag it out. They would just drop that nugget, and then I would come along and she would come along and pick up these different references while watching these videos. And I'm like, well, I gotta tell them that I know what that is. I know what this means. And eventually it gets to the point where you're either stalking them or, you know, give your own take on these references for scenarios that you come across and throw them in a video and put them online, because essentially you're gonna connect with somebody else that feels the exact same way you do when they were growing up, and you may connect with them, and you pretty much have a follower for life if you make that connection. I'll follow Christian Harloff to the depths of Hades, you know, as he's a very similar person, but yet so different at the same time. And that's the best part about these movie talks that we do, these reviews, is we just wanted to connect with more people. And like she said, we had the equipment, and it wasn't until trailer reactions that we figured out how to do it.
Yeah, it's finding out that other people know all like the obscure references and movies that you do is
right.
It's got to be motivating.
It's motivating. It's rewarding. It's like, maybe I didn't waste my whole life memorizing Hot to Trot. I mean, there's so many different random movies. Weekend at Bernie's 2 was one of our entrances for the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. And yeah, I mean, how many people know the music and, you know, the reference? But we went deep with it. We had to even create the music from the movie to fit our entrance. And some people picked up on that. And it's so rewarding when they actually do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the same way, where I bought my podcast mic like 2 or 3 years before I started the show, because I had to do like 5 minutes of audio, and I was like, well, someday I'll want to do a podcast, so I better get a good one now. And then it just sat there for like years.
Yep. You need that little extra push, that motivation, and that one did eventually show up, like I said, with the trailer reactions.
Yeah, that first the last trailer to Star Wars Force Awakens. There you go.
Like the official full-length one, because it was the one that was only, what was it, like a minute long, a little over a minute long. You know, there has been an awakening. Have you felt it? And then that one, like, we spent so much, because we were so in the, like, Star Wars coming back. We loved it so much. And we spent so much time watching trailer reactions from Tyrone Magnus, Flick Freaks, Real Rejects, Collider Video. I mean, so many of these people out there were doing these reactions, and off of just that trailer, Vanessa and I had a conversation that spanned like weeks over just that little nugget, just with ourselves, and not even putting it on camera. And it wasn't until that trailer rolled around, the next one, the full-length one, that we got into it.
We didn't do that one. There was that minute one, and then the celebration, and then we did the one at the very end.
Did everyone see the celebration? That's right. Yeah, yes. I watched the celebration one in the back room at work.
I cried.
And everybody thought I was crazy because I was jumping around, pulling my hair out, and everybody looked at me like, dude, come on, it's just Star Wars. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, this is amazing. And yeah, we ended up jumping in. Like, we had to express our emotion. And that's when we pulled out the camera from the closet and, you know, turned our lamp sideways that we had in the living room to make that very first Force Awakens trailer reaction. And that's what just catapulted us off from that point.
Yeah, the people at work didn't get it, so you had to find people on the internet that
that
will get it. Yeah,
and we found them. We did.
Yeah,
so many. I think like right now, all our Star Wars videos are like over 100,000 views right now. Like, that was huge. That first one finally passed that threshold, and that was, you know, that's really rewarding because we were happy when 100 people watched it, let alone 100,000.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah, that was a good one to start on because you guys were so excited on that video.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
And Star Wars, you're gonna get a good amount of views, but
it's true.
You guys it was a good tone to set for the channel where you guys
had a lot of adrenaline rush
that
one because like our friends that work at the theater, they're like the tickets are on sale now, and so I had to like get the tickets, and so I was just like on a high from there too.
Right.
And yeah, you were saying you like turned the lamp to the side, and I'm sure that was kind of the very like as low tech as it gotten, and since then you guys have definitely improved, and the quality is really good. Any tips for getting like good high quality video and the production quality, like posting them, it all comes together really nice?
Yeah. Well, okay, so when for a while, all we did was just turn the lamps over, adjust the lighting. If it was daytime, we would open the blinds. But really what it comes down to is the lighting and the video is essentially the breadwinner when it comes to these kinds of videos. I mean, you could make it work with any lighting. People obviously are okay with the crappy lighting, because we did it for like, it felt like a year.
I know. I'll go back and watch those videos. I'm like,
yeah, but it
what?
worked. That's how we built the channel. So the biggest thing, Limo Studio is the name of the company. You can go on Amazon, and I don't remember how much it is, but it's cheap, and you get like 2 umbrellas, 3 light stands. It comes with the
starter pack,
the bulbs and everything you need. And yeah, we've been running the channel off of that Limo Studio entry level light pack for a while now. The Real Rejects also use Limo Studio. Theirs are like the boxes, the next step up. But yeah, we just use the umbrellas with the nice lighting, and it was all in one package. Comes in a little carry bag, and honestly, I mean, if you get that, your lighting's done, and those things last forever. We have yet to have to replace really anything on them since we started. Well, that's because we left the bulbs in a hotel at one point. But yeah, keep track of the bulbs. They even give you a little carry satchel for your bulbs.
I know. I'm so sad. I miss more the carrying case.
Video. So the video side is a little more, like Vanessa said, kind of a lucky break when it comes to the video. We use a DSLR to record everything from the beginning to now. Our DSLR is typically how we make our videos. And we also use a smaller compact DSLR, which where I was working at the time, I got a chance to travel for the company, and they gave me all this equipment from Canon and Sony, and I didn't know what to
away.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with all this equipment. It was great, a tripod, a memory card, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Yeah, it's nice that we were able to stumble upon this quality equipment, but it is not necessary to start a channel. Really, it comes down to your phone. You can do so much with just a little mini tripod with a phone attachment. You can get them at Best Buy. You can get them on Amazon for cheap. Attach your phone to it and start recording that way. 1080 is essentially, really, if you produce in that, you're going to be good.
Yeah, there's a couple of the people that we watch, they use their phone a lot of time. I mean, for a majority of their videos, and it works for them, and it's genius because you don't have to shell out all this money for this big equipment. I mean, so if for people who are starting out and don't have the money to do that, they can start off by doing that. Because if it's one of those things that is hindering you from starting your YouTube channel or starting like a podcast or whatever, it's because you don't have equipment. Phone is the good start point.
Yeah, and the thing is just invest in software for editing. A lot of our peers, they will use the free, the trial, they get away with it. You'll see maybe a little tag on there. Honestly, that's where I think you should probably save the money for and invest in a very entry-level tier editing software. Greg Alba from The Real Rejects, he's been rocking that channel off of freaking... what is the Apple movie, iMovie forever. He was rocking iMovie for that channel. And those guys have like 500,000 subscribers. And that's how we started too, with iMovie. And right now we use Adobe Premiere Elements, which is maybe $60. And you can really go far with entry-level paid editing programs. But yeah, your smartphone... and then, hell, if you just have to turn a lamp sideways, that works too. No reason to keep you from building your own channel if you feel the same way we did at that time.
So yeah, if you're trying to start on basically no budget, the editing software should be the first expense that you have.
Yeah, I mean, and we use fairly, inexpensive computers to do it all. Like, the desktop that I was using and editing all that stuff on is ages old. It wasn't even that pricey, and it was able to run it. It may take you longer to render and upload, but man, it gets you there. It gets us done. If you do a 5-minute video, it's not going to put you in the hole. Maybe when you get to like the hour-long ones, if you're doing show reactions, that's where things get a little tough.
Yeah.
You need to invest in the equipment for the computer as well.
Yeah, because that's how your show has evolved is you started with reviews, but now you're doing show reactions. You've got some hour-long movie reviews, like the vlogs at different locations and conventions. How have those new things been added as you go?
Funny enough, is the vlogs was really what we started with first.
Yeah, so our very first attempt to do anything content-wise for the channel was in 2015 when we went to D23, and we said this is a good starting point for us, and eventually we kind of got overwhelmed there, and we didn't really do anything because it was like a new experience going to D23, so we didn't really have a video for our vlog very much at D23. It was more so Disneyland, and we have a video for that, but
it's not something that we look back on with, fondness.
Yeah, and like at that time too, we didn't edit. Like, we had a friend who helped us edit and do all that stuff too. So
yeah, we had to learn everything from them because they knew the editing, and really it's like for our videos, it's 2 cuts, an intro and outro, and then the middle, and it's done. It's not too hard, but the vlogging is definitely a much more intricate task when it comes to just talking in front of people. I think that is one of the hardest things to overcome when it comes to other content besides trailer reactions. You're safe, you're sound, you're in your place, and you film a reaction to something, then you put it out there for people to judge. But when you do a vlog or a review in location at some place, there are people looking at you, people talking about you. Look at that guy with that camera in front of his face.
Granted, it's better at like a con and stuff because there are a lot of other people who are doing it there too, so they understand. But when it comes to other places that is not like the movie theater or just random places, it's kind of awkward because they're just staring at you, and
it's weird. But
you kind of have to like block them out.
And then that's the thing too, is that all that stuff we were doing already. We were going to conventions, and it was, let's film these adventures when we're out going and doing this stuff, because one, now being on YouTube so much, it's content for your channel. It's stuff for our followers to watch. But at that time, it's like, why wouldn't we turn a camera on the stuff we were already doing, like Phoenix Comic-Con? We like to do some of the stuff locally. Nightfall at Old Tucson, that one we went and people were just, who are you? What are you doing? Why do you have a camera? What's this for? Now, for this past year, they're like, yeah, now, late to the party. You hear all the characters and characters and people saying, oh, late to the party, oh, and they play along with the camera, and it is rewarding, and that is something that we want to keep branching out to.
Yeah.
The movie reviews, the vlogs, fantastic. We want to do movie locations as well, because Tucson and the southwest of Arizona is used to be very heavy in the filmmaking locations. Now everything's moved over to New Mexico, but man, you've got so many films here, and we want to dig into that. I mean, Lambda, that's why Revenge of the Nerds is so big with us. We've
filmed here.
Adams College is U of A, and everything filmed in Revenge of the Nerds is right here in our town. Yeah. We have yet to go and do that, but that is something we're going to try and...
It's on our list.
Yeah, that's the next thing that we want to focus on. But yeah, if you're doing fun things, why not turn the camera on? And it may be awkward at first, but you got to do it to push through it. And it does turn out pretty well, because guess what? There's a lot of other awkward people that feel the same way, that will love whatever you're saying in your videos, no matter what. There's no wrong or right thing to say in terms of what you love. And yeah, throw it on film, put it out there.
Yeah, that's always been the barrier for me, is like remembering to film myself, but then also being like, this is kind of a weird time to be like taking pictures and stuff. So it's definitely a barrier.
It definitely does have to take some mental training. For instance, food pictures on Instagram, so popular. People love them. We never take food pictures. We hardly ever. But when we do, they tend to get quite a few likes. But every time we'll be like, all right, we got to remember to take a picture of the food for Instagram because content for your followers.
And then it's like tunnel vision when the food is like, oh.
And then the food's gone and we're like, we forgot to take a picture.
We'll just take a picture of what we ate.
Yeah, we'll figure something else out.
And they can imagine the food.
Yeah, you can time to imagine the fire. But you have to program your brain that this is the point where I'm going to pull out the camera, and even though I'm kind of nervous or afraid, do it. Pull it out. You don't know what to say, just turn the camera another way. That's the best thing about vlogging that I'm trying to reprogram right now with myself, is turn the camera away from you and talk to the camera, more of a narration, and you don't have to worry about being on camera trying to think of something clever to say. Put it on someone that looks like George Lucas, and and that's the connection with Justin Scard we had. We used to do that just on our own. He does it in his videos. George Lucas, when he sees someone walk by. Just those kind of little connections. If you see a reference in something, say it. And you don't have to always say it to the lens. Say it behind the camera. And typically, you can make a fun little video out of that vlog. That's vlogging.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, because since the D23 where you didn't end up with a vlog, you guys put out some really cool stuff. Like you were just at Ace Comic-Con a couple weeks ago, and those videos have all turned out to be like really interesting, and you get a lot of content at those conventions.
You do, yeah. I mean, the funny thing is one of the biggest things for conventions is cosplaying.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like, we haven't really added that much cosplaying into our convention videos, just because there's so many other people that do it so much better, and it's like, we'll focus on other things.
Oh, you mean like us going in cosplay?
No, filming cosplay. Like, I can go and film like a montage of cosplayers. But,
that's true,
but there's some awesome videos of cosplayers out there. I'm like, I bow in deference. You guys are great, and I love this video.
But it's also a fact, like, I feel bad, too, because, I mean, granted, that's why they were there, to get the appraisal, the hard work that they put on that costume. But there's, like, so many people, like, asking, like, can I do a video? Can I take a picture? And, like, so by the time we get to them, we're like...
Well, even then, I go for the deep-seated stuff. I look for John Hammond. I look for Daniel LaRusso, the Karate Kid. Like, that
was a good one.
Yeah, I'll look for the ones. Yeah, the obscure ones, and they love it when you can walk up and
get it.
Yeah, throw it at them, and those are the ones that I look for. Ace Comic-Con was more so. There weren't a lot of cosplayers. That's partly the reason why we did it, and the cosplayers that were there. We're in our videos already at Phoenix Comic-Con.
Yeah, so we didn't, and they were wearing basically the same costumes and stuff, so we didn't want to show what we've already shown before. We wanted to seek out new ones that like, oh, I've never seen that one before, and figure that one out. But a lot of the costumes and stuff were already ones that were like, oh yeah, we've seen that before.
Yeah, and another thing too is focus. That's the biggest thing that we can recommend is focus on the stuff that you find interesting, that you love. If you are into the cosplay, you just, fall into that rabbit hole of cosplay. Film it, focus on it, talk to them, interview them, get anything you can out of it, because you are going to find the editing process much more fruitful when you're editing things that you really enjoyed versus doing it because that's what everybody else likes. So focus on the stuff you like, and those that convention, those conventions, it's pretty much full of something for everybody. Yeah. So focus on the ones that you like. Stick to what you love.
Yeah, because you guys don't. You focused more on like the movie side, and you had the Stan Lee and the Team Cap panel, which was cool. You didn't have to slog through 3 hours of cosplay videos just because they happen to be popular.
Correct. Yeah, that's the thing is comic book enthusiasts. We have friends that are diehard, amazing, knowledgeable people when it comes to comic books. And we are not very... When they were collecting comic books, I was collecting VHS tapes. And I held those dearly. I kept those in mint condition while their comic books were in mint condition, And I can't go toe for toe when it comes to the comic book stuff. But when I see art that speaks to me, same with her, like we'll spend time talking to the authors, the illustrators, the writers. When there's something, Karen Hallian, like we stumbled across her over at Phoenix Comic-Con a couple years back, and we spent a lot of time with her because we love her artwork. But at the same time, we wouldn't go up, you do this book and you're the illustrator for Batman. Yeah, we like the Batman movies, but I have not dug deep into the Batman comic books, so that's not something I'm going to do. I'm not going to fake it for those that are far more interested and well-versed in the subject than we are.
Yeah, like if we were to see Conroy at a convention, we would ask for his.
Absolutely.
He is Batman.
Yeah,
so.
the animated series. I mean, that's the ones that we love.
Yeah.
That's the quintessential
So that would
Batman.
be one that we would, because we know we grew up with watching the Batman animated series. So.
Right. And that's our connection, and that's what we will put forth in our content, tailor-made for us and people like us.
Awesome. And yeah, you guys have made some good connections through this. Like you said, you met Henry Runamucka.
See, I was saying that earlier today. Ragamuffin. I was doing all the different last names.
You talking to me?
Rovenfruiter. It's funny. He's going to be a rookie in the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. He's competing.
Really?
I'm hoping one day we get to compete against him, and I'm just going to call him the different Henry Rowan-Gardner last names throughout the competition. It will be fantastic. But yeah,
Perfect
Henry
tackle.
Rowan-Gardner, Thomas Ian Nicholas, yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Schmoedowns. You guys have gotten involved with that just strictly through mentioning them through the channel, stalking them, as you said.
Yeah.
It's so weird because we talk about this experience a lot. When we first met Christian and Mark, they were at D23, 2015.
Yep.
And we were just fans, and we were like, oh, hey, we're huge fans of the Schmoes and everything. And Christian was busy doing like business stuff with some guy from from Nerdist.
Yep.
And Mark was the one that was like saying hello, and then we took a picture, and then that was about it. And then fast forward to last year's
2 years later.
Yeah, 2 years later to last year's D23, and we got to see them, and they're like, "Hey, late to the party," and I felt so bad because like Christian like focused his like attention on us, and like the other people he was talking to beforehand, they were kind of just there now, and I was like, oh, bye.
we became the Nerdist guy, and they became us. So 2 years from now, maybe they'll be the ones that are, shaking hands and kissing babies with Christian Harloff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, it was stalking, so to speak. Organic growth. That's something that Adam the Woo very much puts forth is, you know what? Don't peddle yourself. Don't spam yourself. Don't try and push your brand or your content onto those that aren't aware of it or care at the moment. If you are a fan of something, become a commenter. Be somebody in their comment section, actively engaging. Tweet them and say, oh, I felt the same way. Reply with a GIF or GIF, depending on your preference. And just be a fan, and don't push your, well, I do this too, check out mine, or I did a trailer reaction, here's a link to mine. No, like if you are going on other people's channels, comment because you like their content, give them compliments. And that's how we've become friends with Wendy and Dustin, the movie couple, the Geek House in San Diego. Of course, Collider Video. Adam the Woo is in one of our videos as well. Justin Scar's in a video. And I never thought that would ever happen, but not once do we ever push or peddle our own brand onto them. It was always the organic way of just being fans and meeting them at one point in time. When we met Mark and John Roca, Mark Riley, Mark Ellis, John Roca, Christian Harloff, at D23 in 2015, not once did late to the party ever leave our mouths. It was, I'm a huge fan. I love your work. This is fantastic. Great to meet you. Can we get a picture? Picture. And then they left and moved on, and we cherished it. The thing is, though, that picture now, when late to the party started gaining momentum, it's like, by the way, remember this at Star Tours in Disneyland when I met Mark Riley in front of Star Tours? That was you? And then John Roca, that was you guys in line for Ahsoka Tano at D23? And it just, you have this deeper level connection. So yeah, there's a little bit of an ulterior motive when we're taking these pictures. It's fuel for the fire later. But we built that up by doing it organically. We didn't want to do trailer reactions or reactions to the Schmoedown without permission.
Yeah, so we wanted to do reactions to the Schmoedown for a while because we just loved watching it, and we feel like other people would enjoy it, like watching it with us as we're watching the Schmoedown. And then eventually last year, of course, when we got the call.
Well, Christian Harloff put out an APB on the Facebook group saying, hey, if anybody does reactions, do them to the Schmoedown. I'd love to see it. We were like, okay, we have like 10,000 subscribers in our pocket now, and now it is the window of opportunity, and we had one up that night for the match.
Yep.
And then it was just a few days later
that we got an email from Christian saying, are you ever in LA? And we're like, what? And
that was just like March of last year.
Yeah. God, it feels like such a long time ago, but yeah, it's been a year, almost.
It's been almost a year, and all that we have accomplished, meeting Sam Witwer, friends with Sam Levine, Christian Harloff's in my cell phone, like, it is amazing that these people who, yeah, I guess they're not huge people in the celebratory world of, fame. They're huge to us. They're big timers in our books, and the fact that we can rub elbows with them constantly, and they know our names, that's huge. That's a great success.
We're part of the group.
Yeah, we're part of the tribe. We are now part of the tribe. But it's just by doing it in a friendly way, and putting what you love out there because you love it, and they happen to love what we do, and it's a beautiful friendship. It works out pretty well. Kismet, yeah, and it's only been a year, so it happens quick when it happens.
Yeah, and it just starts with being enthusiastic fans and.
Yeah, that's the thing is
believe.
We're honest, being honest, genuine, and when it comes, like the Last Starfighter, you got to grab it with both hands, hold on tight, any chance you get.
Yep.
We said no. Yeah, that's a quick thing. Christian asked us to go to Collider like a week after he contacted us, and we said no right off the bat, because who goes and drives to California in a week without planning? Like, going to California used to be a big deal for us.
Yeah.
Once every 5 years, maybe. And no,
we're just like, this ain't no big deal.
Yeah, we figured it out, rented a car, and drove there overnight in like 5 days, and it worked out pretty well. So like I said, when you get the opportunity, jump on it for sure.
I assumed you just hopped in the car right after getting that call.
Pretty much.
That's exactly what happened, and then we like slept in our car the whole time until we got the confirmation, like, okay, you guys can come to the studio.
Oh yeah, when we got to Burbank, we were just hanging around Burbank waiting for like, when can we go? Is it too early? I don't want to, Now we just walk in whenever. Hey, Copster.
Yeah, we're like, hey.
Hey, Thad. Hey, John. Like, it's no big thing anymore, but yet it still is. It's fun.
You're able to play it off a little bit easier, but it's still.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm still like, oh my God, I'm here.
Yeah,
this is amazing.
One of the guys from The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. Jared from The Bachelor
in Paradise.
Yeah, he comes up to us. He's like, I'm a huge fan, and I'm like, wait, like, you're the dude from The Bachelor. Like, okay, nice to meet you, man. Like, it's great. And people walk up to us and say, oh, I loved your match, but yet on just months before that, we were the ones saying I loved your match. So it's crazy how the turntables. That was an Office reference, sorry.
Oh, how the turntables.
Yep, Michael Scott. Yep.
Yeah, it's like, weren't you the celebrity a couple months ago? You're fans of us.
It's cool. It's cool how things change and evolve quickly, very fast.
And yeah, it seems like making those relationships has been a great way to grow the channel and find an audience, get some more legitimacy. What do you think has been the best ways that you've grown and promoted?
I would say social networking. That is one of the biggest ways to, it increases your net to be able to catch more of the followers, because there's so many people that like what you do or like what you have to say, but you're not going to get to them if you don't have a hook and a net to be able to grab them. And the biggest net is going to be your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram.
Your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Stardust.
Yeah, take advantage. Like our Stardust, we're pushed past 8,000 followers on Stardust. More than Jeremy Johns, more than The Real Rejects. Like, it's crazy because we jumped on it right when it got created. And I think we even passed the Schmoes on how many followers. Like, we actively use it. They kind of jumped in and then died off. Not Real Rejects, though. They're killing it. They're doing a great job. But yeah, you're seeing a lot of these social networking platforms that are readily available. And you may seem like you're throwing your comments out to nobody, but it just all of a sudden can swing in your favor.
And a lot of times I feel like even with that stuff is like a therapy for you. Just like you have to talk about some awesome thing that you saw, or if you didn't like it, you have to talk about it. And if nobody watches it, eventually they'll start to watch it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it hangs out there until somebody connects with it. Like, we just watched Clifford recently. It was Vanessa's first time, my 100th time. And we put it out there.
I've seen bits and pieces here and there.
Well, yeah, now you've seen the whole thing,
That's
so
very
you
true.
are up to speed. Larry the Scary Rex, we threw stuff out there, and there are people that today are going through and they're like, oh, Clifford, I love this movie. It's like, yeah, we put that out like 2 weeks ago. And yet you're...
It's not the big red
Yeah,
dog.
not the big red dog. It's better than that. But that's the thing, is you throw this stuff out there and people are finding it at their leisure. Whenever it pops in their mind, whenever they're thinking of Better Off Dead, they're going to go find, a few of the posts that we made on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram, and they will connect with you that way. Or we do a trailer reaction. That's why the Better Late Than Never series that we're doing, where we go back to old school trailers.
Which I enjoy.
Yeah, we cover movies we've never seen before, never heard of before, and yet other people are like, I love this movie. It's my favorite movie. This is what I thought of it. Mm-hmm. And they connect with you because it may not be something but you're opening yourself up to a new experience instead of just covering it blindly saying, oh yeah, that's what this is about. Mm-hmm. It's like, I am new to this. What is going on? And they're there to kind of usher you into the knowledge of this new movie.
They finally are able, like, yes, I could talk to somebody about this.
Yeah, because it's something that's always been on their, on close to their heart growing up. Funny thing is I think one of the first few Better Late Than Never reactions we did was for Mosquito Coast with Harrison Ford and River Phoenix and Adam the Woo, who we've already paid him his respects and how amazing he is to us. Like, all of a sudden jumped in the comment section of the Mosquito Coast telling us this great, amazing story about how it was the catalyst for him to quit his job and go on the road and become a full-time YouTuber. And I was like, dang, man, like, that's a lot of heart you just dropped on us for a guy that we admire and don't really converse regularly with. And for him to jump into the comment section and he just let it all out about Mosquito Coast. That's one of our heroes. And here he is, like, ushering in this information to us and how much it meant to him. So, yeah, it's expanding your horizons and, be open to this universe that is film, even though you don't like it.
It brings people together.
Right.
Yeah, that is one of the benefits of the Better Late Than Never ones, is you get, like, people have a more emotional reaction to those older films.
It's true.
We also get a lot of people, too, that are like, oh, I've never seen that movie. Like, thank you so much for doing this reaction, because now it's a movie that I feel like I'm interested in and I'm going to go back and watch.
Yeah. And it keeps the communication open, too, because it's like going back to what we were talking about with social networking, they're going to go have these conversations with you regularly on their preferred social networking. So you've got the Twitter followers that don't like Facebook or Instagram. You've got the Instagrammers that hate Twitter because it's just words. And then there's Facebook, which is just your parents yelling about politics. And then, you have to find a way to balance it all out. And one of the best ways, and I think this is the another thing that we highly recommend, is if you can be visual at any given time, be visual. It doesn't have to be throwing a video up and doing, like, for instance, podcasting. So I saw that you're starting out your YouTube channel for Under the Cape. And the podcast in a video form, not us talking on camera, but just putting it on YouTube, you'll get those people that love listening to podcasts, because there's a lot on YouTube, because it's just easier for them.
It is, yeah, because a lot of times people even don't have iTunes.
Or they don't want to download an app to go listen to
podcasts.
App. And we equate that to the whole, I have like News Radio, the entire series on the back bookcase behind us, but yet, man, I'm sitting over here on the couch last night wishing News Radio was on Netflix so I could watch it. And Vanessa's like, it's right there, you have the whole series. I'm like, but I don't want to pull out all the DVDs and have to watch them individually. So it's just, it's convenience.
It's just easier when the Xbox does it for you.
Yeah, when when Netflix chooses it for you, that's typically where people will go.
After one episode is done, it goes on to the next episode, unlike having to switch out the disc.
And that's the thing is, with visual media, make it easy for them and make it entertaining no matter what social platform you are using. Twitter, Facebook finally got on board with throwing in GIFs or GIFs on there to allow you to just pick them from the screen, and you can throw a GIF on there for whatever emotion you're feeling. And we do that constantly. I don't think there is, like, very rarely a post that we put that isn't connected to a movie reference, a TV reference, or a GIF meme of some kind. That little extra effort adds more to your personality, and you get more responses because it sticks out to people versus just, I'm going to do 100 and something characters.
It's easier for people to interpret a GIF or GIF of what you're trying to interpret instead of words, because people can misinterpret words. Yeah. But if you put out, like, an expression
through GIF,
through that they can get, and they're like, oh, so that's what you meant.
Yeah, and people have a lot of fun with it. It's a lot
easier that way.
It may be a pain in the butt as the creator to have to put, something on each individual platform, but you are getting those people that only follow you on that platform up to speed with your content. Especially if you throw a new video up, share it across the board, because they aren't constantly checking YouTube to see when Late to the Party posts a new video, but they may be constantly on Instagram looking at dogs of Instagram
or on Twitter
or food, and they'll come across your new video that you just put, and throw in a link in there. Make sure you attach that link, because you got to make it easy for them to find you. To find your site, I went to your Instagram, and you have the link up above, and it took me to your webpage. And there you have all your social networking linked in. And I went to every single one and sought you out. And you made it easier for me to be able to see what you're all about. And I think that's what more people need to do when they're running their channels.
And they got to do it on all, because not everybody has an Instagram, not everybody has a Twitter, and not everybody has a Facebook. So you got to pander to each social media site. Not everybody has a Snapchat.
And that's how you spam everybody. Yeah. That's how you push your product out there.
You just
not on other people's. Everywhere. Do it on your own. Yeah, and they start coming to you. Our Twitter, we're almost to 2,000 followers on Twitter, and I remember when, that thing was like, I can't get more than 100, and it just all of a sudden 2,000 again within a year. So that was one of the biggest things that came from Collider was Twitter. A lot of Twitter users are Collider fans.
Yeah, I mean, I opened my Twitter account in like 2008, and I didn't use it until Collider. Yeah. Until like 2 or 3 years ago.
Now you're pushing 1,000 on your own private?
No.
Okay, well, she'll get there eventually.
I'm like at 800.
Oh, well, that's pushing 1,000.
Yeah, it seems like everyone has that 1 or 2 channels they go to for all their news and entertainment, so you kind of have to put it everywhere so that they can find it wherever. Like you said, they're not on YouTube looking for stuff. They're on Facebook and Instagram, and you kind of got to hit them everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. It's free. It's there. It's ready to use. And for those that aren't using it, it kills me when I see it. I'm like, how are people going to know? Or they're like, I put up a new video. It's like, well, who knows? You have no subscribers. You have like 2 subscribers. How are people going to know? Just speaking for some of our peers, it's like, you get yourself out there and you can skyrocket with the quality of content that you do have right up here in your head. Put it out there for people to know, but they won't know unless you're putting it somewhere where they can see it.
Yeah, that was I had been debating putting the podcast on YouTube, but it was only if I could like make it fit YouTube. Like I've seen people have success when they have like video podcasts. So it is kind of that idea of tailoring your content to each channel. Like you said, like on Instagram, you're putting out, video clips, or on Twitter, you're putting out images of the new videos. So kind of tailoring it to each channel.
Yeah, you could just put up a slate in the audio. And it's funny because our friends locally here in town, Dan and Aaliyah, they still do, but Nerd Build podcast was their, essentially their only podcast, and they only put it up on iTunes. And I used to listen to it through my MP3 player app that let me access podcasts. But eventually they ended up getting into the Schmoedown, and I told them forever that they really should be putting it up on YouTube. And then they started an All the Belts podcast for Collider-centric talk. And they started doing that for their YouTube channel. And yeah, they are rolling in now when it comes to views. They are getting more views on their channel for All the Belts and Nerd Build than they did before just putting it on the podcast. So yeah, you may not be getting those numbers through the podcast itself, but they're getting hundreds and hundreds of views. As I look at it right now, hundreds of views on these podcasts, where before they would get dozens of views, and now it's hundreds. So that's where it all starts. It just incrementally grows from there. And all they have is a slate for their cover, their title, their name, and then they throw the audio on there. And it seems to work pretty well, because I know that, yeah, there's times where I'm listening it through the podcast form, but when I listened to Movie Talk when I was like at work, I would just have the YouTube open and have it play that way, and I'd listen to it. I wasn't watching it. I'd listen to it. Then eventually they made it a podcast so I could do it the MP3 app way. But yeah, like, make it easier for other people, because the same thing is going to happen. You're going to have listeners that identify with what you feel and say. It doesn't matter how they're getting it. Granted, it's nice to funnel those numbers through one platform, but man, again, the net, when it's wider, you are going to get that return in other aspects of your company or your brand, and making that brand very consistent across all platforms, but making that net bigger for the wider reach. You are going to get quite a few followers, and you'll hold on to them for a while too, because they feel like you're not going away. You're not out of sight, out of mind. You're always around, so they don't get bored and dip out.
Yeah.
Which does happen.
Yeah, but definitely making it convenient for them to find you is key.
Like Joe Dirt said, man, it's not you, it's the consumer.
Hey, man. So yeah, kind of looking towards the future, what do you guys have a future plan for Late to the Party? Do we have a Better Late Than Never for 7 Psychopaths coming up?
Right? I would love to get into some Martin McDonagh stuff. Yeah, I mean, In Bruges and 7 Psychopaths, it's some good stuff, man. Yeah, that's the best part about Better Late Than Never, is we've got so many different ways we can go.
Yeah, but like so many movies from the past. I just love watching the trailers from old times and comparing it to what the trailers are now. And it's like a complete 180 for sure.
And it's funny because the guy who runs the Better Late Than Never, he's the producer of it. He comes up with the trailers. He edits the videos and puts it up. Travis Travis was the one of a couple guys that was editing our reactions in the very beginning. He was the one that was editing our vlogs, and kind of the man behind the scenes back in the beginning. He was with us at D23 in 2015 and 2017 when we went. And so he's always kind of been around, and Better Late Than Never was kind of something that he wanted to formulate because he doesn't understand trailer reactions. And I don't blame him. He just doesn't get what the merit is for people watching something while they're watching something. He just doesn't get that. But what he does love is classic trailers and a fish out of water. How do you respond to that? So he put Better Late Than Never together, and yeah, that brings an endless amount of movies that we can go through. Right now, we're doing the remakes before they were remakes. And after that's over, he'll pick a new category and go that way. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Seven Psychopaths definitely could pop up. It's not that old, so I think that's why it's kind of at the back burner. We hit up like Last Starfighter and Clue is one I want to do. But it's up to him. We leave it all up to him. He gets to pick what we're going to do. We have no clue until he plays it in front of us what it is. So that also, we have to, it shows how well versed you are on what's playing out in front of you.
Titanic trailer.
Yeah, but it's up to Travis. But other than that, vlogging, we really want to get a little bit higher viewers in the vlogging. The reviews are easy. I mean, you could just critique a movie, just tell them what you thought about it, and it's easy. The vlogs, because they do take more time to edit, and because it takes a little bit more prep to go out and shoot stuff, and you know, it is harder to pull off, and I think that is probably the bigger challenge. We want to go to Disneyland and do it the right way. I think that's the next thing for us. We got to get to Disneyland, but we're waiting for Star Wars Land to open.
Yeah, but we also want to do
Edge.
it the right way, and you know what the right way is when we sing songs.
I was watching them today, actually. I was prepping mentally. Here's we're going to give you a little
insight.
A little
breaking news.
Hot tip of what's going to come. So we haven't told anyone about this.
Yeah, back in the day they came out, or Disney came out with like sing-along videos, and some of those were like at Disneyland.
Right.
And there was one that we want to do like almost shot for shot, basically.
It'll be pretty close.
Yeah, and like that we've been watching him to get like where the camera's angled so we know when to like do all the shots there. It will take a while, but it's worth it. And it's like a different take on a vlog, essentially. Like, it'll be like a vlog, but it will be us doing what they did in the video, just showing what Disneyland is now versus what it used to be back when they did those videos. Yeah,
so that's essentially what we are going to try and reenact those Disney sing-along videos. Yeah. Zippity-doo-dah-day, nice. You know? We've got a Roger Rabbit from when they released the Roger Rabbit in theaters. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and he's coming with, and he will be playing the part of Roger in those videos. So yeah, there's some fun things we want to do, and then of course the movie locations. We got to get in on that. There's so much. It's just doing it. We are telling people now, go out and do it, just do it, and yet we don't heed our own.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the process of doing like a late in the week thing, talking about all of the movie news and stuff that surrounds itself with all of that stuff, and then just talk about it, and we'll just make fun at the fact that you probably have already heard all of this, but we're going to talk about it anyways.
And get our insight for what came out. Yeah, Travis is working on the graphics for that one. But yeah, essentially it'll be a broadcast at the end of the week for like movie news and things that drop that we have an opinion on. And we won't take it too serious, but it should be fun. That will probably be coming up first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Late in the week.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys have kind of mastered like getting videos out quick, keeping them simple, so it opens up the ability to do like one of those a week, kind of a lot more videos.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. Content. You got to be consistent. And it doesn't mean every day. You don't have to put a video up every day. We're like usually every few days, and then we'll do like 3 to 5 videos in that day. And then we'll go 3 to 5 days without anything. So it depends on the trailers, depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
December was a good month for us. Thank you, Disney.
Yeah, surprisingly. It's just
most successful month for Late to the Party, just in terms of
Star Wars.
viewership. Yeah, Star Wars, and Thor, of course, Ragnarok. I mean, they pretty much killed it with the amount of content. And Disney also doesn't, when it comes to YouTube, you don't really make money off your YouTube videos, but Disney is one of the few companies that says that the people that make videos that are Disney oriented get to keep all their winnings, all their monetization. So they don't take anything away from you if you do reviews or reactions, versus Fox or Sony or Warner Brothers that pretty much snatch it out of the air the second you put a video up.
It'll be pennies to them.
Yeah, pennies to them. But Disney, of all people, yeah, you want to do a freaking Star Wars reaction that gets 250,000 views?
Company.
You get everything from it because they understand.
It's free marketing.
Yeah, it's free marketing and it works out. But, you know, the penny pinchers in the other film industry, you know, the companies, well...
Hey, look at Fox.
Yeah, they grab anything they can to make a profit. And we get it. It's fine. But at the same time, with the money that we get from those videos, we get to do more. We're already looking at our next camera we're going to get so we can go more mobile. Time to go mobile. We are going to hit up more places with the next camera that we get that's kind of built for it. So big stuff in store, hopefully.
Yeah, Disney kind of gets the value of like reviews like yours, like when they did the right before the Infinity War trailer, they put out that reaction video trailer. And just that got everyone like, I was super hyped up just from that.
Yeah, and like even with that one, Star Wars did it too, or Star Wars and Target did it too.
Yeah,
and they
Target
did the video where they had a bunch of the reaction people on there promoting the Star Wars product that they were going to sell at Target. So a lot of them see the value in reactions because they know, and like some of these producers and directors love watching other people appreciate what they're doing and get all excited with because there was the people who did the trailer for Rogue One. They did their reaction video reacting to other people reacting to the trailer because that's a mouthful, but they were really excited to see what people thought of all the graphics that they put into that movie and the trailer and how long it took. So it's rewarding for them as well as for us.
Right.
Awesome. Well, yeah, guys, this has been really cool. A ton of awesome information. Do you have one final piece of advice for someone just starting out building a geek brand?
Do it. Just do it. I'm just kidding.
The biggest thing
Insert Shia LaBeouf here.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is just be genuine.
Yeah.
No need to fake it out. And just genuine and curious, and go out there and use what you have to pull it off.
Just be you.
Yeah.
Like all the things that you love, just embody that in your whatever you want to do. And don't tailor to other people that are saying, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this. Just like forget them and do your own thing, and people will follow. Eventually.
Yeah, they will.
You gotta be patient.
They will definitely follow. Definitely be patient. You could say you're not doing it for the views, but eventually you'll be doing it for the views because it's like a drug. But all in all, like in the beginning, like do it because you love it. And you'll enjoy it longer if you keep doing what you love versus turning it into a lot of work and things that you're not interested in. And you will go far. Just do what you love and use what you have to make sure other people will do it. And it's okay. It's all right if they come out and they hate it because somebody out there loves it. Guarantee it.
Yeah, just finding your audience. I gotta watch that Shia LaBeouf video every morning until it starts to hit.
Just do it.
That's the thing, man. Yeah, any GIFs or memes that motivate you, keep it going. And for me, it's always been stay on target. Yeah. Stay on target. And it's
we're too close.
And that's funny because it's Christian Harloff whenever he would wrangle his cohorts on the desk, he would always throw out stay on target. And I'm like, oh my God, I love him. He's my brother from another mother.
Yama, yama, yama.
Yeah, anything that gets you motivated, hang on to that. And just go for it. And it'll work out. Trust me, if you keep at it, it'll work out.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks, guys. Where should people go to follow you?
They can follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram.
All the social networking gin
Stardust.
joints, you know where they are. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing is keep all your brands similar. Keep all your images, your visual identity similar, and you will corner that market of your brand.
Yeah, keep all your handles the same too. Yeah. Basically, like Instagram and Twitter should be basically the same handle, because people don't want to type different things when they're looking for you. Yeah,
it's harder for them. So late to the party. I guarantee you look for it on any of those social networking gin joints, you will find us, because we keep it the same.
Awesome. All right, yeah, guys, thanks. This was awesome.
No, thank you, Tim. We appreciate it, and we do wish you luck with your brand, and we hope it does go far.
There you have it, guys. Awesome talk with Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party. Yeah, I got a lot out of this one. They were really helpful in giving me some advice for improving YouTube. I haven't taken a ton of it yet because this is still pretty new, and I just wanted to get it launched off. But the biggest takeaways I took from them, I mean, the biggest one really was just to get started and not let any barriers kind of prevent that. But the other big steps were my punch list of, I want to get some good editing software next, and improve the lighting. I don't know if you can tell for those watching the YouTube, but the lighting is, I'm just using lamps, like they said, a couple turned over lamps. And yeah, the other thing that I really liked that they talked about was being an active fan. So they really got their opportunities with Collider, and they got a lot of the opportunities they've found by just going out there, and the people that they enjoy following, they comment and they like things and they see them at conventions and they get a picture, and they're not trying to sell their Late to the Party brand. They're just trying to be fans, and through that, people get noticed, and you get noticed as someone with common interests, and a relationship starts from there. They talked about social networking, as important to reaching out to people, and especially going on the platforms that the people that you're trying to reach are on. So, they mentioned, you want to make sure you have content on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Stardust, because most people are only on one or two networks, and you always want to be able to reach your ideal audience wherever they happen to be. So that was another cool piece of advice that I took away from them. So definitely give them a follow on their YouTube channel, and like they said, on all the gin joints at Late to the Party, and yeah, I'll put the links to everything, all the resources they linked, like the lighting stuff and all the stuff they mentioned, as well as their social links, in the show notes at underthecapes.com/episode 30. And as I said in the beginning of the show, I wanted to talk a little bit more about my journey into YouTube for this week in my entrepreneur journey. So the first thing I want to mention is, for those listening just the podcast, that'll still be the primary way that I'll be delivering the Under the Capes podcast. So, if you're a fan of podcasts, definitely don't feel like the YouTube is where things are headed. For those, if you are watching, you can see I've got a big mic stuck right in front of my face, so you can tell that the podcast is definitely the top priority to get that best audio quality. But, as they said, some people don't really like podcasts, or they don't want to download a special player, or, they just find it more convenient to listen to things on YouTube. So I really want to reach out to that audience. So that's the main goal of this. And yeah, I'd love to get more visual, and if guests are willing to also have the video component and offer a even better view at people. There are some podcasts that I listen to, like the Punished Props and Crafting Geek, that do the mix of video and audio, and I really like that because sometimes I listen to them. Sometimes I watch them on YouTube. Most of the time I just listen to them through my podcast app, but it's nice having the option, and it gives that extra depth. So yeah, YouTube. I started it actually yesterday, and my first video went up. It was a tutorial on a Nerf Cyclone Shock mod repainting. So I had a Nerf gun that I had repainted to look all, cool and wastelandy a year ago, actually, like exactly a year. I was looking at the timestamps on the actual videos I took, and I was like, wow, how is this taking me this long to post? But so I did it about a year ago, and I just posted it yesterday. And so yeah, my main goal for YouTube will be to post episodes of the podcast and also to post cosplay tutorials. So I've done a lot of filming raw footage since then. In the past year, I've gotten a good amount of footage created that I'll be editing and rolling out over the next few months. So, I'd love some feedback there. The first video, the Nerf one, it's a little rough. I've upgraded my camera, and I've upgraded how I'm recording the videos since then. So this one is a little rougher than the other ones, but I think it still comes out cool, and it was the one that I could get out the quickest to just kind of get this thing started. So yeah, that is my plan for YouTube, and yeah, some things I learned from it. I definitely need better editing software. I'm using Windows Movie Maker, and it doesn't offer me a lot of editing options. So the one that Robert and Vanessa suggested, or the one that they use, is Adobe Premiere Elements. So I might give that one a shot. I definitely want to upgrade the lighting at some point. I think this is, editing is the priority. So the lighting will be what it is for a small time being. So I can, not sink too much money into this right away. But that's definitely on the list. And yeah, I'm looking forward to learning. I've had a lot of great YouTubers on the podcast so far, so I'm looking forward to. I'll probably end up going back to all those episodes and re-listening to them as I dive into this for some advice. And future guests, I'll be able to ask a lot more relevant questions, which will hopefully help other YouTubers that are listening to the show. And otherwise, thanks wherever you're listening from, whether it's through iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or whether you're on the new YouTube. Thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'd love some feedback about this new channel and new format, and any feedback for the show would be awesome. You can check it out underthecapes.com or follow on the social channels. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for listening to the Under the Capes podcast. I hope this has motivated you to either start or help grow your geek business. If you like the show, I'd love if you could give us a rating or review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you happen to be listening from. And feel free to connect on social media. on Twitter at Under the Capes, Facebook at Under the Capes, and on Instagram at Under the Capes Podcast. Thanks so much and have a great day.